I wasn't really going to talk about Diddy, to be honest. Robin Lambert, Kevin Zwicker here. Kevin's hit me up on the text. Why do you think we need to Because I guess, Kevin, I didn't need to have an outrage contest. Like, everybody saw the video. It's horrific. There's nothing else to say about it. It's disgusting, revolting, all the words that you want to use. And I just didn't know, me saying that as forcefully as I could, if that adds anything to the discourse that is already out there, because I think that is a universally shared opinion.
This is 100% true. For those of you who usually watch our videos, we usually like to go back and forth and debate our points and things like that. This isn't going to be one of those videos. Me and Robin are lockstep on this opinion. That video was not only horrifying, was just sad. To see the fear in that woman's eyes when Diddy was running butt naked in that hotel room, it's one of those images that are going to burn in my mind forever. And not only is his career over, and rightfully should, but he needs consequences, and hopefully it gets done.
Well, look, the Fed's already rated his spot, right? Like, I mean, that didn't come out of nowhere. Just these things take a little time. As far as this video, it's past, I'm sure, the statute of limitations or whatever. But here, let me play Diddy's apology. I don't know if anybody cares that he apologized, but he did. In fairness, here's what he said.
It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life. Sometimes you got to do that. I was fucked up. I mean, I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it. I'm disgusted now. I went and I sought out professional help. I had to go into therapy and go into rehab. I had to ask God for his mercy and grace. I'm so sorry. But I'm committed to be a better man each and every day. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm truly sorry.
So here's the thing. I believe in redemption for people in general, like as a general principle. Like, if people can change, they can get better, all those things. But with Diddy, this is not an isolated incident that he's been accused of. There is a laundry list of accusations that have been made against him, to the point where it almost became like a joke online, like he's the Joker, a supervillain, if you will, like trying to blow up Kid Cudi's car. I don't know what allegations are true and what are false. So I don't want to get into that aspect of it. But my point being that this is not an isolated incident. At least it doesn't appear to be, given this man's history. And Kevin, the reason I think that it's going to be easier for people to be done with Diddy is it's not like he's beloved in the sense of his music. Like, I don't know if I've ever met anybody who was like, my favorite artist is Diddy, right? Like, even when you go to like the beauty of sampling, I would point out the RZA and what he's able to do. Diddy was more like he would just jack an entire song and put it on there. He was the hype man all up in the video, as famously said by Suge Knight. So it's even different, like, say, a Kanye, right? Where Kanye has done some stuff that made people really angry with him, but I think people have a deep connection to Kanye's music going back to the College Dropout. I don't really know if that connection to Diddy's music exists in the same way. And that, I think, it's going to make it easier for people to go like, all right, I'm done with you for good.
Well, to be fair, and I don't want to come across like I'm complimenting the guy because of, what we just witnessed in that video, but he is responsible for guys like Big E and 112 and Mary J. Blige and people like that. So the man has contributed a lot when it comes to music. Now, he isn't a hands-on producer like Kanye or Dr. Dre, like you mentioned, but the guy is one of the better, like, I would have to say, like, song assemblers of all time, kind of like a Nick Fury type.
I think he's more of a mogul and a marketer. I mean, like, like that's kind of where I think he plays into the, he knew how to, I mean, even the didn't they do the Big Mac single with Craig Mack and Biggie? So look, I mean, you can't just erase him from history. I mean, he's on some of the most famous songs. He's obviously, on a lot of Biggie's songs and was the face of that in some ways. So I'm not saying he didn't do anything or was completely worthless musically, but I don't feel like he ever established that connection with people musically that makes it harder.
Now, that is true. I agree with you. I've never ran into somebody in the streets and they told me, hey, you know who my favorite artist is? And I said, who? And they go, Diddy. Like, I've never met anybody who said that. I've never even met anybody who, when I mentioned who's your favorite producer, they say Diddy. So in that aspect, I'm 100% in lockstep with you as well. But, but his significance in hip hop, just as his image, when you think of hip hop and if you wrote a 2-hour documentary about hip hop, a decent portion of that documentary would feature Diddy.
Well, yeah, he's also a staple of pop culture. I mean, he's in that movie with Jonah Hill and them. He did the vote or die thing. Remember how big a deal the vote or die campaign was at a point in time? And look, he threw those parties. He was in the industry. A lot of people knew him. A lot of people were around him. And first of all, I'm not, I don't know if it was an open secret. I don't know if, he did a really good job making sure his most insidious acts were behind closed doors. I'm not lumping anybody that's ever been around him with him. That is not fair at all. What I'm saying is, when you just try to do the Men in Black mind eraser thing, it's hard because there are a lot of photos with Diddy. There are a lot of events with Diddy with some of the other biggest people in the industry. And he was a part of the industry for a long, long time now, like 30 years. So that part is harder to erase. I just think it's going to be easier for people to move on and say, I don't care that I'm not running that Diddy track back.
100%. I agree with you. And the funny thing about how people work is, you like you mentioned earlier, is you mention all these alleged stories, and we're not going to go through them, but we've all heard things. All right. But I feel like just the way humans react is when you see video, you actually see the video and not like articles or somebody talking about something allegedly happening. It does this effect to you that nothing else will do to you. And I think the fact that no matter what happens next in his life or in his career, that video is going to be burnt into people's heads and he is never going to recover after that.
Yeah, no, look, there are stories, we've had allegations about plenty of people over the years and all should be taken seriously, obviously, but there is that visceral reaction when you see it. And the whole world obviously already saw that. That's why Diddy came out and apologized now. It's not an accident that it's happening after the fact, but I just don't know, or I do know there's no coming back.